Hello, everybody. The prodigal son has returned. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, a lot a bit late, but we've had technical difficulties, resetting of all kind of things after we come back from the Dominican Republic. So once again, thank you so much for being here, and make sure you share the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you like what we are discussing tonight. The chat room is open to everybody all of the time. And tonight, can you afford not to invest, ladies and gentlemen? The numbers are in. It's a worldwide problem. And that's why Stop Struggling Now, known as the SSN Nation, we try to have you as the ordinary citizens be prepared, be astute, understand what is happening around the world so you have an advantage, what little advantage you do have. And once again, welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear, check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Thank you so much for being here this evening. And I know, what is it? Celtics and Mavs, game 4. Can the Celtics wrap this up in a sweep? Well, we will find out shortly, but I know the Celtics were behind, so it's rare that you're going to be sweeping somebody in the finals, but you never know. They're very talented, and so are the Mavs, and playing at home. So once again, everybody, please smash that like button. I know I'm late, and I know we missed Wednesday night live stream, but I could not help it. There was weather conditions that did not allow me to go live. So we missed the Wednesday night, but it does not matter. The show for Friday night is here. So we know my 48 hours to 72-hour prediction did not happen like the majority of stocks that do a split. But what did happen is the first, 2 to 3 hours of the split, it dropped to 117. We're lucky enough to have a few people that picked up at 117, 118. That's a good number, because just what we feared was happening did happen. The nvidia stock continues to rise, closing at 131 today. But let me see who's in the house tonight. We have Yahweh J here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream with that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And another investor, he's here. Hello, SSN Nation is his tagline. Happy Friday, everyone. Received notifications, saw the trailer, and he did the trifecta. Smash that like button so the YouTube guys know that we have someone here in the house. Thank you so much for that, Yahweh J. I appreciate you being here, and very, very nice to see you once again in the SSN Nation Lifestyle Music Festival in Punta Cana. And we have our own, again, Laverne Penix is here this evening. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. He too has that beautiful icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. Thank you so much for that. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received the notification and the trailer. Thank you so much for that. That's 2 people. Can we bust the record tonight? Well, let me know. And if you're new here, make sure that you join the conversation. The chat room's open to everybody. It's the no guru zone. We don't have courses to sell. We don't have seminars to attend. We don't have anything like that. We're trying to help you out here. We want you to spend your money that counts most, because can you afford not to invest is going to be a problem going forward. We talked about it last week. 70% of United States citizens are living paycheck to paycheck. it's worse and about the same around the world. There are people who live in countries you can forget about upward mobility. You're just stuck at being in a lower echelon, middle echelon, upper echelon of your society. Can you believe that? That's why everybody rushes to democracy locations, places that you can actually improve your lifestyle. Well, you can only improve your lifestyle so much when you are living paycheck to paycheck. But unfortunately, you cannot afford to not invest. A double negative. You have to invest, ladies and gentlemen. It's the goal here for the next 2 years. Now, I talked about nvidia to start the ball game tonight. So I'm going to go see if I still have nvidia stock somewhere up. Here we go. Just because there was going to be a recap, I have the 5-day out here. And in 5 days, if you would have bought when it split, you would be up damn near 10% already for this week. The AI revolution is here. Now, AMD, okay, Microsoft, Amazon, and I don't know what a Sustec computer is, but nonetheless, that's your job to go search. The AI revolution is here, and you have to understand something about NVIDIA. Chips is one thing, but when you say you have to buy our hardware as well in order to use the chips, that is what you call upselling. That means more revenues. That also means if you're the top dog, then most people, big corporations, are going to spend money with you. They're not going to invent another chip. Although Apple, let's call it what it is, they do their thing. So there will be competitors, but right now, NVIDIA is going to win and a whole bunch of other companies are going to win. Are you going to invest? You can't afford to sit on the sidelines. You already understand 9.48%. Here's what I want to do right here. I want to go right here where it was 118.23. And if you got in at 118.23, you're at 11.5%. Some people would say, man, I'll take my 10%, 11% and go home, sell it right now and take that. Yes, if you invested enough money, 10% in a week would be pretty damn good. But most people don't have millions of dollars in the stock market. Ordinary citizens have hundreds of thousands, maybe million, but you're not going to have 10%. I doubt if a person had $1 million portfolio that they're going to buy $1 million worth of NVIDIA at 118 on Monday after the stock split. I doubt that would happen. So the best case scenario would be they got $111,000 profit. Now, if somebody took that gamble, good for them, but most people wouldn't have done that. So nonetheless, the rich got a lot richer in less than a week. Can you imagine having, let's just say, $10 million? And the next thing you know is you have $1 million. I think you'll be very, very happy to say, take 25% from me. I'm good. All right. Give me my 750,000 and I'm going on about my business. You won't mind giving up 25%, will you, for those capital gains? I'm pretty sure in less than 5 days. And you have more money that you can use to invest. That's how the big boys are playing this game. And that's why they get to stay ahead. That's why you cannot afford to sit on the sidelines any longer. Think of it this way: reduce expenses, increase investments into a revolution. You have an AI revolution. You're going to have robotics revolution. You're going to have a lot of things going on technology wise. That S&P 500, that should be breaking records for years to come. Just letting you guys know. Let me know if anybody has anything else they want to talk about. And before I forget, Laverne Penix, also known here, since I have him on the screen still, in this YouTube street, is known as Mr. Cool, another investor in the house. He's here as well. We have several people that invest in many different types of genres, I'll call it. Real estate, businesses. What else can you do? It's all related to finance at this point. You can't sit on the sidelines. The Federal Reserve, the IMF, they are setting it up for the big boys to win. Don't worry, you're a big boy too. You just have to be in the game. You have to be buying assets. You can't sit on the sidelines. Now, why do I say this? Because you have to understand we're going to digital, which it already is digital. You may be controlled. What do I mean by that? Well, I have several friends, and it's happened to me before. You say, hey, I want my money. They say, hey, how did you receive the money? Well, it was an ACH. Okay, well, we'll hold it for 3 to 7 days. 7 days comes up, and they say, oh, we don't have it confirmed, so we can't release it yet. But in the old days, here's old days, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you know, when an ACH came in, they would call the other institution and say, hey, has this cleared the person's account? And they would say, yes, it's cleared. You can give the people their money. So instead of this 3 to 7 days, it was kind of like 2 days. You could just call and say, oh, yeah, it's cleared. It's gone out of their account. You guys are good. But they don't do that anymore. That ought to tell you all you really need to know. Then you have to start thinking cash. It's getting harder and harder to deal with cash. If you carry around $11,000, $12,000, $15,000 and leave the country, you would be subject to search, or you have to declare it. If you declare it, you're subject to search. Take your pick. Either way, control. Now, you're going to have to invest, and you're going to have to make choices here. Inside the United States, outside the United States, inside the EU zone, outside of the EU zone, inside for all the Asian Chinese people, inside China, or F that, you better keep it outside of China, because, you know, there's social contracts that they have where you're walking around doing jaywalking and they take the money out of your account. I'm sorry, but that is tyranny about to happen. So how many banks are going to close this year? Why are banks closing? Several reasons. Several. You don't need people, tellers standing around when people can go to the ATM machine, drive through, transfer online, make payments with their debit card, send people money with Zelle. That means they need less and less bank operations, because basically they're just a waste of money, which in turn also means customers do not have access to their money. It's going to be a worldwide problem. So now you understand the worldwide problem that's coming your way. Banks are not going to be your friend, and nothing else is going to be your friend, because if you can't get your money, you're dead in the water. All right? Doesn't matter if you're a great customer. Doesn't matter if you've done anything legal, illegal. It does not matter. You can have your money hemmed up in banking crisis situation, and the bank doesn't even have to be in a crisis. They're going to make the crisis make you wait or keep your money. There's going to be all kinds of things that are going to come down over the next few years. And one thing that's even worse, the Federal Reserve did not reduce the interest rate this month, nor are they claiming to do it next month or the next month. They could be doing one rate reduction this year. You know what? 0.025. That's not going to help nobody. But let's just say that's what it is. That means 2025 is going to be a roaring 20s, because they will reduce the interest rate next year, probably 2 times minimum. And that gets us almost down like 1 point as far as the banks, the lenders will be changing the number. There's a big difference between 7%, 7.7, and 6.2 or 6.0. Once you start going down that path, things are going to accelerate. What do I mean? I've talked about this before. You have to invest. Businesses will be, or stock corporations, they will be buying back their own shares of stock to increase the price, which triggers, like you saw Elon Musk at $56 billion because he met his metrics in stock options. You get your metrics. How do you get your metrics? You increase the stock price. That's a metric. Instead of getting $20 million, you now get $50 million. You have X amount of profit. How do you increase profit? You increase 5 to 10% on the customers. That's you. Now that triggers another $20 to $10 million bonus. See how they're playing you, but you don't have any control over that. But shareholders, they win. Stockholders, they win. You need to be on that train, letting them pull you along for the ride. Let them do the heavy lifting. You don't need to do the heavy lifting. You just have to make the smart moves now. All right, here we go. Let's get into this real quick. Then I'll see who else is in the house. Hold on a second, because I did want to go over here. Thank you to Brian P., who brought this up. Look at this right here. This is exactly what I'm talking about going on. Bank of America, at what cost? Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase shut branches as 79 banks in U.S. closed. Companies gamble while customers suffer. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You better figure out where you're going to keep your money, and I highly suggest you keep your money offshore. You get a bank account offshore, you get a bank account in the U.S. or a bank account wherever you can get them around the world. But all I'm saying is you need to have money sitting in several different locations. A lot of people do not realize Visa, MasterCard, Amex, they're pretty much worldwide. Your debit card has a Visa or MasterCard on it pretty much in any major country, which means just because you're not in that country does not mean you can't use your card. Wherever Visa or MasterCard or Amex is used, you can use your card. Even go down to a debit. To get an ATM, you can use the ATM. So it's not like it's specific for a country, in case you do not know. So just letting you know, you need extra bank accounts around the world outside of your country. This isn't just USA specific. All right? It's getting crazy out here. A lot of crazy. Dozens of American bank branches have closed across the country within a span of 1 month. It's going to continue. You know how, first of all, they have to pay for the location. Then you have to pay for people to sit around. And it's not like this is 1980, 1970, where you would have hundreds of people coming into the bank every hour. They have so many less people showing up at a bank these days that they don't need hand-to-hand combat. So they are closing branches, which means you have nowhere to go if you have a problem. You have to call, customer service, half AI, half human. Take your chance. And what happens if it's 10, 11, 12 at night? Depends on what bank you have. Some will not answer the phone, some will. But that's about to change also. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to get any better. Wells Fargo, hell, they should be shutting down all theirs. Chase, they have shrunk down their store. All the big banks are going to, not only the big banks, the regional banks, every bank is going to shut down. They're talking about 16 branches. I can tell you right now, in California alone, they've probably done 16 branches for each one of these banks they're talking about already over the last 2 to 3 years. Close your chaos. TD Bank, Wells Fargo, Chase closing 36 branches. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's not just some 16 branches for B of A. It's way more than that. So here we are. In 2009, there was around 100,000 bank branches operating. Today, there are less than 80, and it's going to be about 70 here shortly. So just trying to get you guys all set up for success in the future. You're going to need it. Let's see who else is in the house tonight, shall we? Because we have a few others. Let's see. Brian P., responsible for this right here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. He too has that icon that I humbly appreciate. Thank you so much for being a member. And he brings his tagline, "We are making money in here thanks to you and your help." And in this YouTube street, he's known as Mr. Dividend. Why? Well, we'll just put it this way. Yield max ETFs should be in somebody's portfolio. And I don't mean somebody, I mean worldwide portfolio. If you have a brokerage account, you need to buy something in Yield Max ETF. Just take the pick that you like. If you like 10 to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30% return on your money or more, I suggest you check out Yield Max ETFs. Before Brian P chimes in, why don't I mention IWMY? Go check out that. That's right. That's why you got to keep your pen, pads, and papers ready. You never know. When we start talking about dividends, that's making money while you sleep. And as long as the USA still controls world currency, you can rest assured their stock market will be the biggest in the world. All right. And you can rest assured there will be opportunities for paper asset money to be made while you're sleeping. And dividends is a very, very good way. And a stock like nvidia, like Apple, like Facebook, like Amazon, and a few others, even a Tesla, those are the ones that are going to be worldwide because they are already investing in technologies that are tomorrow's technologies. They're going to stay ahead of the game, just like you should be thinking stay ahead of the game. It's a worldwide problem because you as a consumer, as a worker, most people are, you don't make enough money to do any big leaps. You can't go, I'm going to throw in $150,000, $250,000 into the stock market all of a sudden and reap the rewards of 20 or 30% returns, right? Most people have to do a little, 5,000 here, 500 here, 200 there, 10,000 here. It's those type of chunks. And those type of chunks, even if you had $20,000 at 10% annually, that's only $2,000. That's less than $200 per month. Sure, most people would say reinvest that because if you take it out, that's not much money. Hell, most cable bills are 200, 150 bucks, 200 bucks. So therefore, you need bigger money to come in and to be able to invest, but you got to start small. We making money in here. Brian P says, hello, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Yes, it is. Thank you. Hello, SSN family. Smash that like button. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Curtis Davis is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday, Friday night live stream, Wealthy Wednesday night, all wrapped into one. Tonight, the SSN Nation Friday night live stream, where we just have Mr. Financial who's entered the building. And Mr. Financial has his own channel to help you out. Go check out Chili Davis, Chilloy. He's part of the SSN Nation. That's right, no guru zone. He helps people out night, day, evening. So that way you can stay abreast of financial news and updates and information. All right. Now, the numbers are in, ladies and gentlemen, and the only number you need to know, this is not a USA number. 70% of the population living paycheck to paycheck is not a USA number. I mean, it is a USA number, but this has been happening worldwide because I've touched on it a few times before. Brian P. Hey, Eric, I picked up 100 shares of ULTY. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. See, he just drops another dividend stock that you can go check out. ULTY. I'm not going to say anything other than go do your own due diligence and check it out. All right. Brian P. He says, I now have 1150 shares of ULTY. Okay. He wants to talk ULTY. Let me go see something right now. Let's go look at its dividend. I don't know what the dividend of ULTY, but it's the Yield Max Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF. Now, I just want to point something out. Whenever there's a stock that gives you high dividend returns, that means to me, high risk, high rewards. All right. That's what it means to me. So I don't know what the dividend was this past month, but there's a dividend every month for most yield max ETFs. High risk, high rewards. If you want 25, 30%, high risk, high rewards. That's all I can tell you. Now, IWMY, another one. All right. Just so you guys understand that. Now, do your own due diligence. Today, nice. He's back in the dividend mode, a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. That's all you need, ladies and gentlemen. It's $13.71. It was a bargain today. It dropped today. Buying opportunity today. So study what they do, see if that fits what you're trying to do, and go from there. If it doesn't, then hey, maybe you have to go with a JP Morgan fund that just gives you about 9.5 to 10.5%. JEPI, JEPI, JEPQ. Maybe you want to stay with one of the big boy banks. Let's get real, right? Nobody's going to be upset about 9.5 to 10.5% annual return, right? Unless inflation is about 10% as well. But we'll get into that shortly. This is another reason why you can't sit idly by on the sidelines and think that you're going to be okay. Inflation is the way of the world. It's going to continue to happen. All right. Nobody can stop it. Nobody. Why? First of all, let's get some other things straight. You have to understand capitalist system requires price increase. So if you think that it's a very simple, straightforward answer to this question, if I tell you there's going to be a 5% tariff on imports against China, 5%. Well, let's just put it this way. See this phone right here? Made in Chinese factory. How many pieces of this phone is put together? And what if every piece is 5%, which is what it would be, right? Every piece of this, let's say, of the product now costs 5% more. What I mean is the speaker, the earphone, the earphone plugs, RAM, 5% more. So when you say these things cost $1,500, 10% more is $150, 5% more is $75. So that means next year, since you want to do a 5% tariff, who's going to pay the 5%? Not only are you going to pay the $75, now I want profit. So now I want at least 10, 15% profit. I got shareholders to account for. So now I have to raise this to another 10 to 15 to 20 bucks. So now it's $100 more just to make things somewhat right. But because it's our newest, latest, greatest model, I'm raising it $200 or $300 bucks. So now you're going to pay that $1,800 bucks, or somebody's going to be paying it, because we're still going to sell millions of these worldwide. I get to make more money. You're sitting there going, oh, it's the inflation. You're damn right. This is what's going on around the world because there is no competition. You have Apple or you have Samsung, most of you right now watching this. You have an Android phone or you have an Apple phone. And Android can break down into different companies. Apple, well, Apple sells Apple. But in America, this society that we now live in blocks the competition from the world because America is acting like they're weak. So what does the weak do? Hey, man, you have a better product than I do. Instead of me competing, I'm going to block it from coming in because your product is going to cost a third of what our product cost. And now we can't compete with that. And you make a better phone. Your phone has 55 megapixels, 75 megapixels. Your video, what do you mean your video is 4K? What do you mean it's $500 for that phone? And we don't use your Google. We use our own. Because you block Google from being on our phones. Now, all of a sudden, the rest of the world is using those systems. You leave outside of America, sure, your phone works. You're in America. You can go to EU, your phone works, right? But the rest of the world is buying different products than what we're buying. Anybody heard of that company, Huawei, whatever way, Huawei, right? They don't even have the United States market. Second most sales of mobile phones in the world. Imagine if they were able to be in the US market selling their phones for $500-600 that eats these guys' lunch. You really don't think they would be number one? Hell yeah, they'd be number one. So see, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with dumbing down and we're dealing with competition. But where do these companies get to go? Where's Samsung and Apple? They have offshore companies. They don't have to pay taxes because they're selling outside the United States. This is the same program you should be on. You need products, services, businesses outside the US so you don't have to pay taxes in the United States. Remember, there's a big ass world out here. Just because you see a map in an encyclopedia online, just remember the map is manipulated. Just like when a guy meets a woman and he starts talking all big and nice and says, I'm the big, the baddest, the best, I have this, I do this, making himself look good, right? Well, guess what? That's what the maps are around the world. They make countries look bigger than they are, changes the formations, make things look weird. Let's put it to you another way. That country of Africa that they don't make seem that big, it can hold United States, Canada, the freaking North American continent, EU countries, and more. That's how big that landmass is. Just so you understand, everything is in the motherland. Oil, water, gas, everything is there. And companies go there to extract everything, the diamonds, everything, gold, silver, platinums, palladiums, fruit, vegetables, everything is there. So now you have to understand it's you against corporation machines. This is who's taking over. I will be making a video next week because somebody said something. You know how social media is these days. People say misinformation. They say, well, because people did short-term rentals on Airbnb, this, that, and the other, this is why there's a housing crisis and prices have went up. Wrong. You guys heard of the Blackstone? You guys are educated here. Blackstone. You've heard of JP Morgan that I just told you about. If I told you JP Morgan gave a company $6 billion so they can go buy homes that they designated that they're going to go rent them out, that allows a company to just buy at will. Meaning, does it really matter if they're sitting, if you were up and going to go buy a home and all of a sudden you said, you know what, I'm going to pay your asking price of $500,000. Next thing you know, there's so-called bidding war. Somebody pays $625,000. You're like, why? Well, little did you know, you might have been competing against one of these companies that have debt facilities, unlimited amount of funds at interest-only rates, and designed for rent to own or designed to rent a whole residential neighborhood. You know nothing about who's bidding or who's winning. All you know is you got outbid and somebody paid an extra $100,000 for a house. Well, you can do that if you're interest only at 3.5%, interest only at 2.9% for 15 years or 10 years. This is why you cannot afford to not invest. Again, that double negative. This is why you have to invest. There's just no choice right now because you're not going to be able to keep up. Corporations have your money. You're making investments in the stock market. You're making investments on your 401k. That money's funneled up to the people that make financial decisions for their shareholders, and they're doing the smartest thing. Who's going to buy Fundrise? Yeah, one of them big ass companies is going to buy Fundrise. The REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust. Eventually, when the interest rates go down, I expect a lot of these REITs to be bought out by the likes of some major ETF or hedge fund, because they'll be able to get low interest rate to go buy their built-in number of their REITs, and they're going to turn around and raise the rent on everybody in all of the projects that they own just $100. If you have tens of thousands of units and you just raise $100, that's millions of dollars annually, instantly. But you know they're not just going to raise it $100. They're going to do exactly what they did. A $500 apartment is now $2,000. But in the future, a $2,000 apartment is going to be $3,000. This is what we're talking about here. The numbers are in. It's a worldwide problem. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to sit in here. How are you going to sit in the game of life? Because this is unsustainable. Unsustainable. That's why we have to have solutions, right? Got to have solutions, ladies and gentlemen. Your solution is buy assets. Curtis Davis, Mr. Financial, says in today's dollars, $50 like $20 12 years ago. Tell me about it. Healthcare up, insurance up, college up, apartment up, all being investigated for price fixes, crazy price hikes. Exactly. But you know what they're going to get. They're going to get a slap on the wrist. We, like the gas industry, $290 billion in profit last year, while they get subsidies, while they get tax cuts, while they get tax breaks. You paid for it, by the way, and yet you go to the gas pumps, you go get your energy bill, and you're just like, what the frick is going on? $290 billion in profits for the oil industry for the United States. Never mind BP in Russia, in England. Never mind the Aramco in Saudi Arabia. This is systemic. You're getting reamed, but you have to join them, unfortunately. You have to figure out, okay, maybe I'm going to start a business. I'll buy a business. We'll sell shares of stock, and that way I can make money too. Or you have to invest into them to make them even bigger. But at least you get some return on your money. So you're going to have to figure out which way you want to do it, but you have to do something. The numbers are in. It's a worldwide problem. And luckily, or unfortunately, people outside the United States will not get this message. And if you are from outside the United States and you see this video by mistake somehow that YouTube let it slip through, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the all notification bell. So maybe when we pop up and I do live streams and do some videos, maybe you'll get some. I'm not going to, say for sure, but at least try. Because again, this information is not just US only. This is worldwide. All the countries, all the corporations are the same. Like I just mentioned, do you think Apple and Samsung is just in the United States? Hell no. What do you think? You think they're selling their phones overseas for $1,500? $2,000? You're damn right. But here's the thing. In the other countries, they have competition. So the same things that we have on our Samsung and Apple phones and the rest outside the US, if somebody's selling similar phone for half the price, that phone is going to be bought. And that's how you come up with being the second largest manufacturer, seller of cell phones. All right. So just think about it. This is what's happening to you. Yep. Curtis Davis, he says, Huawei phones have better features than Apple. Exactly. It's ridiculous. Over in the DR, person has an Android phone. Oh, I wish I can remember the name of it. Damn it. But anyhow, $200. I was just like, are you kidding me right now? All the features are there. The only thing that happened with that $200 phone was the video card. It won't let you do like past a 1080p, but it was still $200 brand new. Yes, and it's an Android. Yes, it works in USA. Yes, it works around the. I was just like, is this for real? And it was like as big as this. Well, you can't really tell the size on this, but whatever, the 5.8-inch screen or whatever these are, it was the bigger one, just like my Note. Same thing, same size, thin as the Note. In fact, it looked like a Note, but it wasn't. It was a company I never heard of. $200. Unbelievable. Might not have had the fastest processor, but it still was working. Phone calls, video, no problem. Apps, just like we have in America, outside of America, no problems. $200. I was just like, this is insane. This is insane. That same phone, you can't get in the US. So I wish I could remember the name of it. I'd show you the specs. You'd be like pissed. All right. Hey, Eric, my credit card company increased your credit limit, and I did ask for it by $5,000. There you go. That's what you have to do, man. Hey, bounce with these guys. But again, be careful about spending. If you're going to be spending, make sure it's for something that you can monetize. All right, because it's going to be very brutal what's going to happen over the next years. It's already started when people have 29, 30 some percent interest and don't realize it. So that's pretty sweet. Has that happened to you before? Wait, what's this here? My credit card company increased your credit limit, and I did ask for it by 5. Do you mean decrease? Yeah, I've had everything you can imagine. When you have credit cards, when you're in the finance game, you will run into everything. So whether he's talking about an increase or decrease, it happens. I've had situations where I have a limit 20,000, and because I didn't use the card for like 6 months to a year, they said, "Oh, Mr. Bird, since you haven't used your card or whatever, we reduced it to 10 or 5." That's happened. But reverse also has happened. Obviously, they see you use your card. Next thing you know, hey, we're going to give you about a $5,000 to $10,000 credit line increase. Do you want it? You always take the increases. What the hell? Even though you may not use them. But that's what we're dealing with here, right? But banks can do anything they want. Anything. Remember, when you sign and join a bank, when you sign and join a credit card company, you are giving some of your rights away. So just remember, and the number one right is they get to do whatever they want to you. You're a customer now. You signed some of your rights to them and assigned it and said, okay, I'm good with your decisions. So, credit card increases, decreases, they all happen all the time. Has that happened to you before? So I don't know which way you're talking about. I just redo that. Mo Better's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. And Mo Better's another investor in the house. What's up, SSN Nation brings his tagline this evening. What's up, E? Man, we back in the USSA and time to go full bore for the SSN Nation 2024 takeover. Half the year has gone by. And we still haven't taken over jack squat yet. You still down there taking over DR? No, Mo, I'm back in the USSA. I'm over here for a minute. The guys are giving me a rough go at it. They don't like my SSN Nation takeover. They're not liking it. They're blocking every damn place, everything I can do. It's crazy, man. It's stories. I gotta do a story time. You guys would not believe. These guys are mad at me all over the place. Oh, you talk bad about me, which you guys already know because I criticize what they've been doing. And then other guys are like, oh, yeah, I heard you trying to take over. No, we can't let you. What do you mean you can't let me? E. White on his way down tonight. Oh, my. Okay, what's he doing down there? Making investment opportunities for himself again? Mo Better saying, I'm leaving in the morning. You going back to where? You just came back from Santo Domingo, right? So what are you going back for this time, Mo? You're going to go check out your investment in the Santo Domingo area? Anyhow, Curtis Davis, again, $200 versus 1,000 Samsung in the DR USA where you get ripped off. Exactly, your consumer nation. And this is why things are going to change. Because now 70% of USA citizens are living paycheck to paycheck. 78% of US citizens are living paycheck to paycheck during some time during the month. That means a whole lot of slowdowns on buying. And those slowdowns mean prices have to be adjusted if you're in a capitalist system, theoretically. Now, the reason why I say theoretically is because I touched on it earlier. If I'm selling, I'll stay with the phones. I'm selling $1,500 phones. And all of a sudden, sales drop 20, 30% because people don't have money to spend. The advantages that the companies have is they get subsidies anyhow. That's right. You heard me. Samsung, Apple, Tesla, Walmart, Ford, GM, all the oil companies, they receive subsidies. They don't have to sell a damn thing. That is the problem. One of the problems. You and I start a business, we have to risk our own hard-earned money. It'd be nice if somebody said, thank you very much, Eric. Here's $1.5 million. Run your business. We're not asking for anything in return. And you're like, well, where did the money come from? Hey, man, you know we have the IRS. You know we tax people. You know we have sales taxes. You know we have other ways that we can do tax credits and things like that. Come on now. Just, hey, come on. These people out here working their lives off, paycheck to paycheck. So just be quiet and they'll just go along their happy lives and pay their taxes and have their payroll taxes taken out and we distribute it. Don't worry about it. Just go do your thing. You can charge whatever you want. Airlines, who cares if you guys are inefficient? We got your back. You need some money? Here you go. You can charge them whatever you want. Who cares? We got your back. If you fail, we'll just bail you out. That's the problem. All right. So you have to invest, make money, and make money while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation, while you're wherever on the planet. That has to be your goal for the next 3 years. All I'm going to say is mark it on your calendar now. Do not wait for 2027 June to roll around after my retirement party and go, damn, Eric told us this was going to be out of control in 3 years. 3 years. It's over. You're going to have, okay, let's put it this way. You have to make a goal. You have to make over $200,000 per year by 2027. Just to be safe. All right? Just to be safe. I'm just going to put it out there right now. In fact, I think I should write that down because last time I didn't write it down. This time I'm going to write it down. Make sure you have 200. You're making over 200,000 by 2027. All right. I'll make a video about it. All right. Now, let me see if I can remember that phone. Damn it. I think it was called, God, it was called Tear something. It was called Tear. Hold on a second. It was called like Tech. Was it Tech 8? Something. Let me see. It was called Tech 8. Techno. It was called Techno something. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Was it Techno 8? Let's see. Yep. Techno Mobile. There it is. Spark 8. Yeah. That was it. Okay, we're going to talk about this shortly, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let me know what Mo's over there doing. Mo, he's an investor going to the DR, making things happen. No increase. Brian P says no increase. So I didn't understand your message. I couldn't delineate what was going on with your message here. He says, my credit card company increased your credit limit And I did ask for it by, yeah, I don't know it how you wrote that. I can't tell. So if they did not, so you asked for an increase and they said no. I mean, that happens, especially when interest rates are high. But anyhow, the phone, Techno Spark is what it was. Techno Spark. Now, well, I don't know if it was a Spark. It was called Techno something. I just don't know which one. But nonetheless, here, I'm going to put this on screen because this is actually the point I'm trying to make. Let's see here. No increase. So you asked for an increase and they didn't give it to you. Yeah, that's happened all the time. You could have paid on time for the last 20 years. They don't care about that. Especially when interest rates are high. They don't like giving out extra credit. All right, here. So here's a Spark 8, which is nothing major, but here's some of the phones. Phantom, Canon. These are like $200, which is crazy to me. I don't know these. I don't, again, I just remembered the name was Techno, and I think it was a Techno 8. So that might have been the one. But let me see what we have. 5C, 5G, 5G, 5G. Yikes. Okay, look at, in fact, let's go look at this. Resolution, HD. Let's see what we got. Storage. Front cameras. Uh-oh. Okay, I can't tell what this is. Oh, no record found. All right, well, I don't know what these are, but it's called Techno. You guys can see the name, Techno Mobile. So this right here, I don't remember which phone it was, but these are like only hundreds of dollars. It's not like 1,800 or nothing like that, but all I'm saying is this is insane. This is what people have over there. Now, we can look at some of the things. This is HD 32 megapixel cameras. Who has a 30-something megapixel camera in the US by a USA phone? 5G gaming processor, 120 megahertz. All right, see, not bad. But if somebody says $250, you're not going to be mad at them, right? Like dual speaker, Android, whatever 14 means. I'm not a phone guy, so I don't really know. But all I'm saying is this is pretty wild. Stores. All right. But anyhow, that company's not even known. Let's just call it what it is. That's what's crazy about this. Company's not even really known. It's ridiculous out here. All right, let's go. We have Emma B. Couture in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Very happy to see you. Good evening. Listening to and learning. Thank you so much. Very, very happy to hear that. Appreciate it. She has her pen, pad, and papers ready. I'm glad to hear it. Stocks are cheap, but if they cut rates, tech stock might skyrocket. Curtis Davis, I like your low-key approach. Might. If they cut interest rates, it won't be only tech stocks that are going to skyrocket. It's real estate. It's every damn stock's going to skyrocket. Why? Because remember what we talk about here. This is going to be more valuable than anything else going forward. If you don't have the money, then you're going to have a derivative. You guys who are new here and may not understand what I mean by a derivative, you're going to have to be in a position that you have a business and you tell somebody, if you buy this from me, since we're talking about phones, you buy this phone from me, I need you to sign a contract. You know, when you go to the cell phone guys and they make you sign a contract, that's what you need. I need you to sign a contract that you're going to pay me X amount of dollars. Let's just say $1,000. You're going to give me $200, $300 down, and then I'm going to charge you or bill you whatever, $100 a month for the next 8-9 months or whatever. That piece of paper is worth $1,000, even though you only collected 300. You do that a number of times. Let's just say it's $1,000. You did it 100 times. That means on paper, the value is 100,000, but you've collected 30. So now you go somewhere and say, hey, man, how much will you give me for the remaining $70,000 to be collected? Somebody might say, I'll give you 30. Oh, Jubilee. I'll give you 30. That would work, right? You can go on about your business and let them worry about collecting the money. That's a value. So now that's a small scale. But what happens if you have something that's valued at 10,000 or 5,000 or 15 or 20? That puts you in a position to be like the big boys. That's an asset. So now if we're talking about 10,000 and we had 300 sales, now we're talking about a whole nother ball game, right? Now we start talking about trying to get into that $1 million club, right? So that's what we're talking about here. And this is what they do. This is what you can do. So that's one of the ways that if you have a business, you sometimes don't think of down the line or think of things you can do, but there's several things you can do that I tell people all of the time. I say, look, you have a product that you bought, let's just say it 30%, right? You bought it for 30%. So now you're trying to sell it 3 times the value or 2, whatever. So we'll use it in real terms. You bought some for 300. You're going to sell it. I don't believe in doing double the price. So let's say it has to be $900 to $1,000. That's how much the value has to be. We'll round up to 1,000. So now your profit is only $700. How do you increase your profit? A few ways. Number one is what I just talked about. You create your derivative. So then you tell somebody, here, man, sign this piece of paper. I'm going to charge you 10% annually, which means you get an extra $1,000 or sorry, $100. And I'll let you make monthly payments to me. And since I got to collect the monthly payments, I got to charge a fee, $10 a month or 15, whatever the case may be, right? Because it's going to cost me. We might need personnel in the house to call up because you're late. Who knows? But you might charge $50 as a courtesy, $50 plus you're going to be charged an extra $100 a month or whatever the case may be. You create the design on how you want to do it. But the point I'm trying to make is you don't lose because you make sure you collect what the actual cost of the product was. That's what you do. And then now, because 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paychecks or around the world, you've created an Affirm, a Klarna. You've created your own in-house financing. And that's a derivative that you can write home all day, every day. And you can sell it as well. Remember, even if somebody doesn't pay you, that's bad debt. It's a write-off. Or I send it to the collections company and let them buy it from me for pennies on the dollar. Either way, I still make money. All I'm saying is these are the type of things that you're going to have to consider. You might have to get out of your comfort zone if you're not used to running businesses, but you may have to do that because living paycheck to paycheck on a salary is no fun. All right. So stocks are going to skyrocket as soon as they start reducing the rates. And on top of that, why are they going to skyrocket? It's very simple. Around the world, it's very, very simple. Because if I can get an interest-only loan, and I mentioned it earlier, I now can do interest-only and buy my own shares. Buying my own shares means the price will go up because I'm just buying it because I don't really care. What I care about is hundreds, if not thousands of others are buying it at the higher price. That's what we want. That's why we do stock buybacks, right? So think about that. That's what you're trying to do. You're creating your own business, and it's all doable. Now, some people don't even understand. You might be sitting on gold mines as far as asset values. I was in the restaurant equipment business. And this doesn't have to be a restaurant equipment business. This could be any business. Your inventory actually has a price. So imagine that let's just say you're in the screen print business, embroidery business, and you have those machines, right? You have the machines, you have the screen prints, you have all of that. And your business isn't doing too well. You're saying, hey man, I need to upgrade, I need to do something, I need to get a loan to do this or that. Most people don't realize that equipment, you can actually get a loan on your equipment as long as it's free and clear. So restaurant equipment, there's restaurant equipment sitting here. You can go get loans against your equipment. Remember, assets are more valuable now, ladies and gentlemen, than ever before. Because if you need to liquidate, if you need to get loans, if you need to do anything, you need to have those. If you don't have assets, and I don't mean a house and I don't mean a car, I mean actual assets that make money. That's what we're talking about here in the SSN Nation, in case you're new here. And if you're new here, make sure you smash the like button, give it a 1 piece. So then that way, YouTube guys know that you're in the house. If you like what I'm talking about, please subscribe to the channel, click the all notification bell and those with the icon. That's because they're members of the channel. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, please do that as well. Now, share the videos because you never know who's looking for some of this. But we're going to continue because I left off some more important items because I got sidetracked, just because we get sidetracked here because it's an open format. But nonetheless, let's do it. That's not where I wanted to go. This is where I wanted to go. I believe this is the one nope, it's not, but it's okay. We'll go here. How to invest for rising interest rates. This is my favorite. You guys know I love Investopedia. You know why I love Investopedia. All right. Interest rates. Listen to this. It's what we've been talking. Interest rates should be a factor that investors should consider when crafting or readjusting their portfolios. Here we go. Investing in rising interest rates can be done by investing in bank, brokerage firms, tech, Mr. Financial, tech, healthcare stocks, companies with large cash balances. Hint, hint. Who's those companies that have large cash value? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You know who they are. Microsoft, Amazon, Apple. Come on. You guys know they're in solid position. All right. Just keep in mind, banks, not any bank. Look, I hate to invest in these banks, but I'll say their name: Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. All right. Now, do your own due diligence. You can capitalize on higher rates by purchasing real estate and selling off unneeded assets. Woo. Hedge your bets by investing in inflation-proof investments and instruments with credit-based yields. Here we go. What did we say? Invest in banks and brokerage firms? No surprise. This is what happens when interest rates come down. Invest in cash-rich companies, debt to equity. Hey, there's Apple. They have Apple here too. Come on. They got companies. Buy when rates are low. This is what's going to happen. Invest in technology and healthcare. Congratulations. They're giving you the playbook right here. Look at here. I'll put this in the chat room so people can go get it for themselves. You don't have to listen to me about it. It's right here in Investopedia for everybody to go look and geez, hey, do you invest in payroll processing companies? That's interesting. Paycheck, okay. Sell assets. Individuals with unneeded property or other assets may be. in real estate. Oh, notice they said it. REITs is another way to realize profits from a rising rate environment. Inflation hedge, commodities, and REITs. You guys have always been in the game, but did not realize it. I've had you guys on the right tracks all the time. Not with one, you can't be on the right track for everything, but you guys have been on the right tracks. Buy when rates were low, invest in technology and healthcare. We've been talking about all of this. And the latest thing is the AI revolution. So it's up to you. If you're not in on the AI revolution, I'm sorry, you should be. All right. That's going to be like a 3 to 4 to 5, actually 5-year run, because all these guys are going to be jockeying for. All right. Welcome back to the USSA. Here's what I guess I lost you on Investopedia. It's all right. Which is what's happened already. But all of these investments is what you should have been doing. And afterwards, when it comes back down, you will be very happy, because here it is: invest in cash rich companies. Everybody's investing in Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. Come on. People are putting their money there, right? As you should. That's what you do right now. All right. Buy when rates are low. Well, rates are going to be lower later, next year. And then we're off to the boom. But notice they're saying REITs as well, in case you missed that part. Here's some REITs that they're talking about. That's beautiful. So you guys have been on the right track the whole time. Oh, why do we have a black screen? Very interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to do it a different way then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back, but I decided to go a little bit less. Stocks are cheap, but if they cut rates, test stocks might skyrocket. So I've been out of contact. Don't know how long you guys were out, but nonetheless, you guys have been on the right track the whole time with everything to put you in position to win. We were talking about pre-construction real estate 3-4 years ago. What's going to happen over the next year? Well, as it turns out, we had a pandemic. We've had projects that have taken an extra 2 to 3 years to build. Interest rates in the DR are ridiculous. If you need a loan, they're 10%, 11, 12, adjustable rates at those numbers. So we need interest rates to be reduced. Hopefully, delivery of a lot of people won't be until next year, where interest rates, even in the DR, will be under 10. Hopefully, it should be. And also, I'm banking also on a USA bank to enter the fray, to actually facilitate or give a debt facility to some bank in the Dominican Republic. Either way, I think there will be a bank that will come down with reasonable rates at 6.5. I think we'll be in that ballpark, quite frankly, at about end of 2025 into 2026. There should be somebody that's going to make it reasonable to keep the boom going. If that does not, then this will not be a good sign for real estate in increase in values in the DR, because nobody's going to be able to afford $300,000 house and talk about a 12% interest rate. That's going to be ridiculous. All right. That's absurd. So no way that you're going to be able to sell pre-constructions at 300,000. And yes, you would have only owed maybe 120 to 150,000 on delivery. But again, when you start talking about 10, 11, 12% for every 100,000, you're going to owe, let's say, 11,000 interest, almost $1,000 per month in interest, never mind paying the principal on 100 grand. Really, you want to pay $1,500 a month plus your HOAs, almost damn near $2,000 a month? What the hell's the investment worth at that point? So this is what we're going to be dealing with. But nonetheless, all of this is going to come to a head as interest rates are reduced. And we did have somebody in here, Brian P., talking about credit. And don't forget, this is why credit will once again come into the forefront. Work on your credit right now, because you will need it later. If you're part of the 70% living paycheck to paycheck, you're going to need your credit built up over the next 2-3 years. So start now if it's not already in the 750 range, because you're going to need to borrow money. All right. It's going to be that cut and dry, because if you're not making money, you're going to have to borrow to make money. Put yourself in position. You got 2 years to put yourself in position, 3 years to put yourself in 200K a month, 200K annually and up. All right. So you got 3 years total. June of 2027, you're going to have to be making damn near $15,000 to $20,000 per month. All right. Just to be comfortable. I'm just letting you know right now. So don't say I didn't warn you. Just like I warned everybody 5 years ago, I'm warning you now. In the next 3, it's going to be dire. You're not going to be able to come back from this. Your kids aren't, your great grandkids, they are not going to be able to go from 0 to $300,000, which is what they're going to need about 8 years from now. All right. So just keep these type of things in your head. There has to be either a devaluation, which the odds of that occurring is pretty slim, or you have to make more money, and it has to be gobs of more money, not just an extra $10 an hour or $20 an hour or $50 an hour. No, it has to be something like $150 to $200 per hour leaps every year. It's going to be crazy. I know I sound crazy probably to a lot of people, but for all you who've been around for 5 years, it ain't crazy now what I was saying then, right? Everybody's like, no, because you said the same thing. Middle class wipeout was going to happen, and it surely happened. Now I'm saying the upper middle class is going to be wiped out. Those are the six-figure guys. 100, 150, wipe out. 200, wipe out. That's why you have to make 200 or more in 3 years. Old school guys like myself, making more money as you are aging is a problem, right? You're not the same. It isn't like you're 25. It's not like you're 35. That's a problem. You don't even move the same. Your mind, you thinks the same, but it may not. So you're going to have to figure out some sort of alterations. Everybody's going to have to make alterations. And I'm suggesting, once again, offshore, onshore, worldwide. Don't just limit yourself to just one area. All right, more splits are coming. Yep, CMG, Chipotle, more splits coming. Investing assets are required in a new economy. Exactly. Chipotle is CMG. Gino Chimiente, if you're still out there, man, thank you for letting people know about CMG like 4 years ago. That run up is nice. And then they're splitting in the next few days, I think. So that's another nice little run. See, you guys get nuggets every now and then. You just never know who the source will be. Automation, AI, create a business around these concepts. Exactly. And you know what? This is what I want to show you right now. This is funny as hell. Here's Google. Look at this. This is Google. Check this out. Already, look at the thing at the top. AI overview. Can you believe this? They're doing the chat GPT AI already. Can you believe this? I put in worldwide inflation problem. Inflation is a worldwide problem that began in mid-2021 and has caused many countries to experience their highest inflation rates in decades. You're damn right. Come on. Inflation is the rate at which prices increase over a period of time, usually a year, and can be measured broadly or narrowly. It can have significant effects on consumers, business investors, and the overall economy. Now, I had to Google this just to see what would happen because I said, does that really say AI overview? Artificial intelligence, Google now. Seriously? Seriously. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So that I wanted to show. And I wanted to show something else because a lot of times we're in the United States and you don't realize what's happening around the world is not unique to the United States. So what I'm going to, no, that's not what I really want. What I'm going to do is go here. We're going to go to a couple years back. So it's all going to come to a head. And this won't be the last inflation bubble either. All right. This will not. Oops, sorry. Wrong one. Thought I was on the right page. Okay, let's go. This won't be the last one. Because after this next little boom that's going to happen, when they reduce the rates, you're going to have about 8 years after that where all hell's going to break loose. 2031, 2032, all hell's going to break loose, if not sooner. Because after this next rate decrease, the wealthy are going to get so much more wealthier that if you think 70% are living paycheck to paycheck, what happens when 80 to 85 are living? 80% to 85% are living paycheck to paycheck. That means it's consolidated. The money has flown up to the top. That's not going to be good. The robots plus generative AI, automation are coming. The jobs leaving may not return in 5 years. They're not coming back. That's exactly the point. You've hit the nail on the head. You have all these tech jobs that are high paying. Now, imagine if half of them are gone. That's the middle class wipeout. The guys that are getting the 130, the 150, the 175, the 200,000. Half gone. Now your average for a worker comes down. even more, because you don't have millions of people making that $150,000 to $200,000 range like you do now. Because AI is going to replace a lot of these people, like he's talking about. Plus, it's automation as well as robots. They have a robot army waiting. And I don't mean literally waiting like how I'm saying it. What I'm trying to say is they've been working on robots that can replace people. I'm talking about servers. You guys already know they made this one that can flip burgers, right? We're talking people, robots walking around, communicating. And if you start doing AI and they can communicate, and after you do the AI and you put their artificial intelligence, which means they're learning, how quick can they get to, how can I take your order? Good afternoon, sir, madam, whoever. What is your order? And think about something different than human beings. They can just intake the info. You could say, oh man, I want hamburger, take off with no cheese. Can you make a pizza? Yes, we can make a pizza. I want pepperoni, extra sauce, and bring me a couple of beers. They recorded it. It's already in the system. They already done started the damn order on the back with some more robots. Then they bring it out. All they had to do was pay whatever the cost is for the robots. One-time fee with the service contract. And you don't have to worry about somebody walking off, calling in sick, any of that. Payroll taxes gone. Healthcare gone. Human beings, problems. Come on. Don't tell me you can't see that happening. It's happening already. Soon as you start wrapping around AI and robots that can actually stand on their own, now you have their thinking. They can absorb much more information than you can, just like our phones right now. We're listening to our conversations. There's no difference. And they can act upon it just like that. And like I said, what's the number one complaint right now for company owners? Oh, the workers don't want to work. They just want to sit on their phones, and I have to pay them. And when they get fired, I got to pay unemployment, and I got to maybe do some half health care costs. And by the way, why am I paying half of their FICA? If I have robots, all that's out the window. I'm buying the robot, or shall I say, leasing the robot, however it goes down. Now I don't have to worry about nothing. Somebody walks in the door, robots roll up. Welcome to the establishment. Thank you so much for being here today. What do you think you want to order? Here, let me show you the menu. And some screen comes up or something. Who knows? I'm just saying this is where this is going. And so now, why do I need lazy ass people? And I got to pay the payroll taxes and all that. Now that, like I said, that's all gone. And I don't have to worry about the money being stolen. Because now, since I'm going to have my AI guys, they also have the air card. Tap, tap, tap me, tap my hand, pay your bill with your card, secure. See where we're going, ladies and gentlemen? Eliminate as many people as possible. I don't have to worry about fraudulent activities. I don't have to worry about anything. Laziness. I don't have to worry about people talking crazy, my employees talking crazy to people. Everything's going to be like, everybody, hey, this is AI. We're all professionals up in here. All right? That's what this is going to be. This is what's happening. Just like Amazon right now, just like UPS, just like FedEx, they have robots in their warehouses moving product. So they're on skates, going through, picking stuff off shelves, moving it around, putting it up to getting them on the trucks for the layers on the pallets, all set. It's already happening, but now it's about to be an overdrive in the next 3 years. And if you're not in that industry to get that high paying job, because it's going to be specialized to watch over them, then where you're going to be? You're going to be sitting on the sidelines. And think about other things as well. When you have UPS, FedEx, and delivery drivers, what do you think is going to happen? If I have a robo taxi, then all I'm going to need is, I'll have a driver, because the robo taxi is going to take us to the spots. So now, no more lazy ass stolen packages, stuff going down from the drivers. Now the thing is loaded. You're in the van. The robo taxi's driving. Here's a stop. Unload. And by the way, we're videotaping you. The robot, right? Or the car, or the vehicle itself. So now there is no, we left the package here or we didn't leave the package there. They got it on camera, straight up. Did you even go there? You have no choice now. You are definitely going there, and they're going to be on a schedule. So efficiency is now going to come into heavy play and heavy rotation. You think you're going to go to lunch? Fine, as a human. They don't have to go to lunch. We can drive day and night if you have the robos. Now, delivering the packages, they'll hire somebody to work graveyard shifts. They can deliver 24/7 at that point. Life is going to change dramatically. So just make sure you're in that game. It's not that hard to figure out, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Curtis Davis, Digit, Optimus, Figure, all the robots, robo-taxis are legal in China, I know. Exactly. Now Japan are trying to let robot take care of elders. Exactly. But some argue immigration is cheaper than robot and maintenance. I wonder why migrants aren't flooding U.S. Hey, there's going to be migrants all over the world needing a job. Curtis Davis, the Senator Tubber stated the USA close to bankrupt. Man, USA is bankrupt. I think $35 trillion deficit means you're in bankrupt, right? We have without printing money, United States has nothing. As multimillionaire, he stated if most Americans invested the $40,000 from Social Security fund, it would be worth hundreds of millions. I don't know what they're saying. If they're advocating for privatization of Social Security, that's cute. But there's one little problem. When these guys mismanage money, it's gone. And all the SEC does to corporations right now is slap them on the wrist and go, oh, yeah, well, you stole or lost hundreds of millions of dollars, but your fine is $10 million. I mean, this is crazy. So that is why a lot of people, including myself, I'm scared to hear that they're going to privatize Social Security or try and put in the hands of these hedge funds or banks or whoever that have mismanaged money over the course of history. The government mismanages money. The banks mismanage money. The hedge funds, they mismanage money. I mean, and you're going to give these guys billions of trillions of dollars? They've already stole the money out of the Social Security, some money out. They have never returned it. That's how crazy this is. So that's a no-win battle. Let's just put it this way. Everybody, just consider your Social Security gone. The Ponzi scheme does not work. What do I mean? The Ponzi scheme is based on somebody has to be working to put into the payroll taxes, right? Somebody has to be working to put into Social Security. Now, later on, Social Security goes up in value, whether it's 2 or 3 or 4% annually. That means there has to be a return of 3-4% minimum. Government's not in the business of getting rates of return. So this is why they talk privatization, because then somebody could get 8 or 9% annually. But by the same token, 8 or 9% annually, what if it takes an L for the year? Negative 8 or 9% for a year or 2. But you still have to pay out to ordinary citizens. And where's the rest of the money coming from if you don't have enough workers? Because it's a Ponzi scheme. Remember, if people live longer, that means Social Security money has to be paid out longer. Just remember that. So if you don't have enough workers to pay out the older workers for their Social Security, where's the money going to come from? So again, that puts us in a bad scenario all the way around, and it's coming. So I'm just saying we can prepare ourselves. We always have solutions here. I just want to go over this. In the US and around the world, inflation is high and getting higher. Yeah, there's no choice. There's only a small amount of companies that control a large percentage of what you're buying. So it's not as diverse as you think. But I wanted to show something here that I thought was very, very interesting. Because here I've been talking for 5 years, telling people that the inflation numbers that the Fed give you is BS. I've been saying it over and over in case you're new here. 1980, in case you don't know, they changed how they calculate inflation. Why would they do that? Well, it's clear. It's so that you would think inflation is lower. So they changed it in 1980, retweaked it around 82. Then it's on, because after they tell you inflation is only 3%, then they bring down the interest rates to, let's say, 3%. Who advantage? It's the corporation's advantages, because now they get to borrow interest only at 2.5, 2% loans you don't know nothing about. If you can get an interest only loan for 15 years, I think you'd be winning too. If somebody came to you and said, hey, you can buy this house and we're going to give you interest only at 2% for 15 years. Meanwhile, the house value goes up. Like simply what's been happening over the last 15 years. You bought a house for 150,000 and now it's worth 500,000. But instead of you having to pay 3% annually, plus towards your principal, you were just like, oh, hell, here's my $1,500 per month, interest only. And then a few years later, you have a house worth $500,000-$600,000. That $300,000 or $400,000 in profits that you made, equity. Meanwhile, all you put in was $18,000 a year over the last 3 or 4 years, less than 70 grand. But yet you can extract $400,000, $450,000. Wouldn't you take that up every day, all day? You too would be winning relatively easily. Wouldn't you? Yes, you would. So this is the whole point about inflation and how they have been robbing everybody. But here we go. Not robbing. What I'm trying to say is this has given corporations an advantage, especially those like the Apples of the world and Microsofts of the world, who actually have cash, who actually are able to do credit, and they're friends with the banks. But anyhow, here's what I want to show you. Between the start of 1991 and the end of 2019, all right, 1991 to 2019, year-over-year inflation averaged about 2.3% a month. A month. Did you see this right here, ladies and gentlemen? And exceeded 5% only 4 times. Okay? So you guys, 5 years ago, when I came out and I said, man, forget that 4 or 5% annual BS they're telling you. It's a lie. So you were in denial, not realizing it's double digits. Then when 3 years go by or 4 years go by, you go, why did the prices go up so much? Well, there's several reasons, but one of them was you were lied to from the get-go. If you knew it was 14% every year and you knew in 5 years it's going to be a 70, 80% price increase, now you understand why there's 70, 80%, 100% price increase. Then you throw in a pandemic where you're giving people stimulus money. Then you throw in tax cut and tax breaks of another few $1 trillion. Next thing you know, there's more inflation ahead. So forget the 80 to 100%, try 300% at that point. And you're still paying for it. So just keep that in mind. So I just thought I had to show this right here because a lot of people always thought they're listening to the Feds go, oh, yeah, interest year over year is 2.8% is what they recently said, right? Of course, it's 2.8% after you jacked up the interest rates and you didn't go any further because you're waiting, helping your buddies out, the rich guys. Then they stopped raising interest rates over the last year. But unfortunately, the last number comes out a little over 3%. So now what they're going to do is just what I told you they were going to do all along. They're going to let it keep playing, and then they're going to go, oh, look, because basically another month goes by, and so they could say, look, it went down to 2.4. We can reduce the interest rates. They're looking for any positive information after they haven't done anything so they can reduce the interest rate, even though that doesn't fix the inflation. You're paying 50 to 60% more or 100% more, and they're not doing a damn thing. They should have already increased the interest rates another 3 times if they were serious about stamping out inflation and making everything right. Companies would have been out of business, rightfully so. Wouldn't have been bailouts. The companies wouldn't be able to borrow money. They'd have to pay. You go borrow $10 million at 7.58%. Go see what that turns out to be. All right? Go see. Nobody likes that. So this is what has slowed everything down. You're not going to be able to borrow like Elon Musk bought what? That $40 billion. Some of it's a loan against his stocks. His loan rate would have been so high it would be ridiculous on a couple of billion or 5 billion or 10 billion. You see where I'm going with this? It wouldn't be no 3% or 4% or 5%. It would be 10. He'd be having to pay $100 million in interest only to make that deal work. So all I'm saying is when they're giving you false information, which this here is not, just told the truth, average about 2.3% a month. I mean, come on. This is so sick. What they've been doing to the American people. We're here for it, though. You guys have solutions, but you have to buy assets because that's your only hope right now. You have no choices anymore. Starting a business is risky because 9 out of 10 fail. So you're going to have to go with something that's already proven, already making money. That's the safer choice. So we will see. Printing money and inflation are closely related. Exactly. 2020 printing, 2024. Nobody can explain the astronomical prices, right? We can. We've been talking about it. When you start printing more money, when you start doing tax cuts and tax rates, when you start giving Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft free land, tax breaks for your city and county, that tax should have been coming in from a corporation that's worth trillions of dollars, if not billions, and you give them a pass, that cost falls upon the citizens in that city or county or state. Never mind the actual cost for everything else increasing. You just increased your tax burden unnecessarily. They have the money to buy their land. They have enough money to build their corporate headquarters. They have enough money for all of that. And you give them a pass. And then you go, oh, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to try and get a little help. Well, I'm just like, you're not getting that kind of help. You're not getting free land. You're not going to get a tax cut for 10 to 15 years because you promised you're going to hire 50 to 100 people. Come on now. You're taking a risk. You're using your own hard-earned money. Sure, there's grants out there and things like that, but you're not getting anywhere near $3 billion or $3 million annually for 5 to 10 years while you're making no money. You're in a whole different realm. You're not winning like that. So this is what you have to understand. This is crazy out here. The USA needs a financial education reset to explain to you we're bankrupt and well through assets only solution. That's the only one right now. You have no choice. Zero choices. You have to make your money work for you. It's a worldwide problem. This is why in 3 years it's a wrap. Well, if 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck, it's going to be like 80 to 85 in 3 years. And at that point, it's a wrap. If people knew the truth, they go into immediate panic. That's the whole point. It's a slow death. This is what's happening right now. People are slowly dying. What I don't mean by death, but what I mean by economically. It crept up in a fast fashion because of the pandemic. If the pandemic never happened, the prices still would have gotten here, but it wouldn't have been an instant. It would have just it would have been like, oh, okay, well, we'll use the apartment rental thing. Yeah, your apartment was $600, but now it's $700. No big deal. Then it would have been, oh, you're going to renew. We need a 2-year. We'll make it $850 because it's $1,000 now. But because of the pandemic and everybody was locked down, there was no increase for a year or 2 years. So then at the end of the year or 2 years, there was all this money that was lost. So they said, we got to increase it plus try to get back our money. So things went from $700 or $800 a month for an apartment to $1,500 to $1,800 per month. And now where it is just astronomically ridiculous. A 1-bedroom apartment in the 2 Gs. It's just insane. Everybody lives in New York now, apparently, but they don't live in New York. That's what I mean. I mean, this is absurd what's happening. Everybody lives in the San Francisco Bay Area now. Studios, 1 bedrooms, $3,000. I mean, this is insanity. All right. But people aren't going to panic. All they're going to do is use credit, and they're going to borrow and use credit. That's it. $2,600 rent in Atlanta. I know. Luxury apartments, 1 bedrooms, $2,600. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. That's unsustainable. Now people are moving into roommate scenarios. Can't blame them because you can't make enough money. It's not your fault. There's not money out there. You have to literally be getting paid like $100,000 a year. How many jobs are available for $100,000 a year and up? There's more jobs from the majority of employers are mom and pop businesses. They can't pay you $100,000 per year. They can only pay you that $30,000, $35,000, $25,000 to $35,000. And they still have to work in the business themselves. Mom and pop type businesses are the majority of where people are employed. So if you eliminate them, which is what's happening, now where do you go? See, this is the overall problem. There is no plan in America. That's the problem. There's no plan for anything. Before, it was very straightforward. Education, plenty of jobs. We're in an industrial revolution and then a tech revolution that employed people to write code, employed people to make computers, employed people to build an infrastructure, fiber optics network, things of this nature. Now, you don't need the same amount of people to build an infrastructure under a technology industrial revolution. That's why we're going to have a big time problem. You can't employ people when it's thin air. You can't pay them $125,000 just to move some technology from place to place. It's not going to work. So this is where the problem is going to come in, and it's going to come in hot and heavy. You got 3 years. All right. Eric, this ice cold plan by corporate apartment people making up 2020 losses. Exactly. Hey, and people have to live somewhere. So they're double dipping. They're buying homes, debt facilities for America for rent that allows them to go buy homes and rent them out or rent to owns. Then They're buying up REITs and apartment complexes, increasing the rent there. Then they're increasing the rent to own homes, and the value of homes, rentals, and everything are going up, leaving everybody stranded. And there's the problem. You guys aren't going to be stranded, though. You guys are at least going to create a plan. We gave you some tools with the dividend investing. We gave you the tools with pre-construction. We gave you the tools with real estate. You just are going to have to figure out how to get the extra streams coming in. Now, all right, I'm not going to say any more about this because we have the solutions for you. You understand this assignment, I hope. Assets pay you. Assets are not things like, I hate to say this because having gold and silver is a thing. You should have a little gold and silver. But the reason why I don't consider gold and silver an asset is simply this. Once I buy $10,000 worth of gold, and that's like 5 ounces, I get nothing back unless I sell it. So it's a black hole. Whereas I can go to $10,000 on a yield max ETF and I can get like $3,000 a year back, right? That's 30%. So it's kind of rough that we don't consider that type of investment where you get nothing back as an actual asset. So when somebody says buy an asset, the first question you should be saying is, does that asset, that money, making money for me? And if somebody says, no, you don't get a check next month or a check in 3 months, every 3 months, or some return, then that's not an asset. You're just doing like hedge against something maybe, but you can't afford to, because you're going to be eaten up anyhow. It does me no good to buy an asset and let's say the $10,000. Inflation goes up, let's just say 100%. Over whatever time frame. So now that same asset is worth, let's say 100%. It's worth 20,000. 10,000 times 10,000 is 200, 100% return. So now it's 20,000. The problem is I can still only buy $20,000 worth of stuff that used to be $10,000. I don't gain anything. I just get to stay level. So staying level is not a good thing. So you need to be able to say, I put 10,000 in, and then after 10 years, it gave me back like 100,000. That's an asset. All right. So just keep that in mind. That's your first and foremost assignment. Don't listen to people that go, this is an asset. You have to say, just like when somebody says buy a house. And they say it's an asset. Well, it's an asset if you can buy it right, but at the same time, you're paying. So again, that's not an asset. You're paying into it. So just think of it this way. If I buy a house, I keep saying this, I buy a house for $500,000. I put down 20%, which was $100,000. I have a $400,000 mortgage. So I paid $100,000 and I have a $400,000 mortgage. That means, I'm paying, let's call it $3,500 a month. So I'm paying $40,000 a year. I have the house for 10 years. I put down 400. Now I have it for 10 years, but since it's a 30-year note, I paid 400,000, but I still owe on the note probably like 200, 150 to 200. So I sell the house because it went up to 700,000. But remember, I paid 100,000 down. I just paid 10 years at $4,000 a month. That's 500,000. I still owe 200,000 on the note. So really, is that an asset? Not really. All right. Unless homes skyrocket, which is what's going to happen after the interest rates go down. But who's going to be able to buy a $500,000 house? You're going to have to make almost $200,000 a year anyhow. And on the other side, the house will skyrocket, but there comes a point. just like the boom, right? You'll be able to buy the house at 500, sell it for 700 or 800 in less than a year because interest rates are going down. But then it comes a point where where are you going to move to when all the housing prices went up? Now what? It's like, okay, you sold the house, you made a nice profit. Now you're looking for that Texas, that Florida, that Georgia, that Louisiana, that Arkansas, that Oklahoma. Sure, you'll be able to buy cheap ass houses in Oklahoma and Arkansas and all these Midwest places. That'll be the next little areas because you'll say, well, I'll sell the house for 800,000. I can go over here to, oh yeah, Texas for 200,000, have a nice 3,000 square foot, 2,500, 3,000 square foot new home. Keep the cash, but that's going to raise the price over in that area also. So again, that's a vicious cycle. Do you want to play that game? That's fine. But all I'm saying is that's not really an asset when you really look at the definitions that we're talking about here, because we want you to have return on your money. LAX, another place where plenty land available, but only luxury apartments available. Exactly. Keep up inflation plus appreciation. There you go. That's what we need. That's what you need, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to run now because this has been a subject matter that we've talked about extensively for the last 5 years, 6 years. So you guys, new people who've seen this, hopefully you understand what we're doing. Smash that like button. Make sure you get yourself in position because this next little run up, it's going to be the mother of all mothers. This is going to possibly be another Great Depression because 80% of the population's not making any money, can't afford anything. Therefore, the corporations can't get any money or profits because people can't buy. And now your infrastructure crumbles. Stores are gone. You're going to have to be more self-sufficient. And most people these days aren't self-sufficient. I mean, I have to admit, it's not like I can go farming all of a sudden. I mean, I can grow something maybe, but I'm not doing the chickens and the cows and the, all this other stuff that you got to do to bring home the bacon. I haven't chopped up any real, live animals before. So I'm just saying that I'm like the city kid. I'd be like crazy out there doing that. Now, if your life depends on, I'm sure you can get into it. But again, that's something that's pretty wild. So that's where we're headed. So make sure you guys protect yourselves. If you have any questions, I love you. You can always ask in the chat room. It's always open at your disposal. Or you can hit me up at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. Support@stopstrugglingnow.com. You can always hit me up there. And once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, I know it's hard out here, and it's about to get a lot harder. Remember my 3-year warning. I gave a 5-year warning before. Now I'm going to give you the 3-year warning. 100,000 to 175 to 200,000 is not going to save you after the next 3 years. At 3 years, when it's 2027, going into 2028, you have to make 200,000 or more. So buying assets that give you a return while you're sleeping, while you're working, is what you're going to need, plus your investments. Any disposable income, you're going to need it. So pay down all your debts as fast as possible. Use your disposable income to pay for assets, even if it's minor, even if it's $500, even if it's $200, even if it's $50. You're going to need to invest every month, every 2 weeks, every week, whatever you can afford. You got to put it into an asset. It gives you a return. It starts off small. Some of you may have 100,000, 200,000 sitting around, but if you don't, start off small. You might have $3 a month, then $5, then $8, then $10, then $20. Over 3 years, though, what if it says $8,000 to $10,000 per month? Because you put in $50 a week or every other week, and the stock appreciated along with the dividend also kind of maybe went up 5 or 3 or 2% as well. And now you're getting reinvestment dollars from reinvesting and buying more shares of stock, letting it run itself. Next thing you know, it's not just $3 a month or $5 a month or $10 a month. Now it's $200 a month, $500 a month. Now that makes a difference. 800 a month. Now all of a sudden you're like, hold on a second. Now it's 15. Now it starts being something totally different for you. You can do all of that within 2 years. 2 years. So before 3 years comes out, you could already be making thousands of dollars per month coming in that you can sit there and say, thank God, because when stuff hits the fan as it's going to, you'll have at least some money rolling in that you don't have to work for. That's going to be key when 2027 gets here. All right. Fair warning. All right. Fair warning, everybody. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. And like I said a little earlier, I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support. Share the videos with other people because these people are out here sleeping. They're being sheep led to slaughter. They don't know 70% of the population in America lives paycheck to paycheck and around the world. They don't know that. They're thinking they're in this all by them lonesome. They're like, damn, I got 2 jobs. In fact, I got 2 jobs. The wife has 1 job, and we still can't make ends to meet. That's design. It's happening. What you don't understand is you have to make a little switch. All right? Just keep that in mind. All right. I'll see you on Monday, hopefully, at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you again for being here. And with all that said, make sure you stay safe. People are under stress, they're under duress, they're under pressure, and therefore they may not be thinking clearly. So don't be part of the problem, be a part of the solution, and let them deal with their own ways. You don't have to involve yourself with the craziness. Try to sidestep it, try to back out. Be the better person because you don't need to be involved in any shenanigans because now hospitals are out of control. Everything, lawsuits, everything's out of control. So you don't want to put yourself in any position that's going to deter you from accumulating assets. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.